Hello, and welcome to another episode of Skyrim Plus. Today I'm featuring Mountainview Farm by Rogue Reverie. Let's check out the map. Here we are at Mountainview Farm. We're near Swindler's Den, Golden Hills Plantation, Rorikstead, Ronvaig's Fast, and here we are again at our featured home, Mountainview Farm. And here we are in front of our new home. It's a cute little farmhouse. But the real star of the show is the farmland. Just look at this magnificent property. The sun's just coming up. We're right near the river with a view of the mountains. And we're right across from Ronvaig's Fast again, which has been a popular location for my most recent showcases. You also have a windmill on your property which looks really sharp. And in the opening is a functioning grain mill, which is nice to have if you do a lot of baking and want to make your own flour. And as we come down the hill, this structure looks like a stable, but it's actually a spot to store some tools and a butter churn. It's better than leaving your tools out in the rain and them becoming rusty. From this vantage point, you can see a sliver of the river, along with a wagon that just makes the farm seem more authentic. And as we look this way, we find a container to catch and store some rainwater. And then we find our animal pen. We have a couple of cows. One tried to cut me off during my last attempted walkthrough, so they're sneaky. And you're also given this horse with beautiful eyes. We'll call him Hercules, but there's another stall available next to Hercules if you already have Shadowmere or another horse of your choosing. Now we'll head out of the animal pen and see what the rest of the property has to offer. And if you like my grass, it's being modified by Freak's Floral Fields. I think it looks really nice, especially on this property. And in the distance you can see that you have a training dummy, so you can hone your combat skills. There are some chickens wandering around by my feet, and then over here you have 24 fertile soils to plant whatever you want. And in that structure, you'll find 3 chickens' nests that you can harvest eggs from, for alchemy, cooking, or for whatever else your heart desires. Now we'll cross over where these steps meet the hillside to check out our backyard. Here's a table with a bow and a few arrows for the Robin Hood stealth archers to hunt with, or if you just want a little practice, you have an archery target by the fence. But that's not all this side of the yard has to offer. If you look up the hill, you'll find a covered area that's home to your full smithing suite. Let's go check it out. To the left, we find your workbench, and then as we take the step up, we find a chest for storage, and then here's your forge, an anvil, and a slack tub. So for those of you that need a slack tub to feel immersed, Rogue Reverie's got you covered. Now let's go check out the back of the pavilion. In the back, we find our smelter. There's a tanning rack for our leather crafting needs. And then there's your grindstone to complete the suite. And now we're headed to the backyard, and look at this wonderful view. If you like my trees, they're being modified by Traverse the Ulvenwald. And here's a fishing pole and a salmon rack. And over in the corner is a spot for you to dry your laundry, as well as a wood chopping block and woodcutter's axe. I'm glad the mod author remembered to include the axe. Many forget to add those. And straight across from that space is an area to wash your clothes. It looks like you have a clothesline, a fancy washing machine, and a washboard that reminds me of my abs when I was in my 20s. But enough of my self-indulgence. Let's continue the tour. Across from the laundry area, we have a small building where we find a modestly sized bathtub, soap, and a scrubber to wash off the blood of your enemies at the end of the day. Oh yeah, I forgot that you're a stealth archer and not a real warrior. My bad. And then over here, we have another building that has an alchemy lab, some harvestable ingredients, and a really nice view of this creek. Check out that water view. I think that any player can appreciate a view like this. There's also a light for night in case you need to have a midnight alchemy session. And in the side room, there's some storage, a pumpkin, and you have a clicky window that you can open and close. I know you love the clickies, and so does Rogue Reverie, hence its inclusion. And as we turn, we find yet another place to dry your laundry. What's that old saying? Cleanliness is next to godliness? Well, bless Talos for all of these clotheslines. Next, we find some beautiful mountain flowers and lots of bees flying around this hive. So if you enjoy making your own stamina potions, or honey, you are in luck. Now that we've seen all of the features from the yard, let's go check out the front porch. To the right is our front door. There's a light for night, and a bench to sit and rest your feet. And in case I forgot to mention this earlier, the home is free and unlocked, so no need to hunt around for the key. Here's a covered area with a pub table in the corner, a chandelier for nighttime, and a small dining table against the home. And then when we turn back, we find a bar to entertain your guests. There's also a dog running around the yard too, so you may enjoy that. And from this spot, you have a nice view of your garden and the river. Like I said earlier, the land is the star of this show. But now that we've seen the wonderful outdoor space, let's go check out the inside of our rustic, simple living farm home. And here we are inside of our new home. We're greeted with a snowberry wreath and a few septums on the table. And as we turn, we find two of my adopted children enjoying each other's company by the dining table. There are some windows above letting in some light, a knapsack, a couple of chests for storage, and 2 weapon racks. There's our front door again, and then as we turn, we find our oven, a pantry and some more harvestable ingredients, and then on the other side of the room, we find a fireplace with a large deer head mounted above, as well as our cooking pot to prepare our family meals. And now that we've seen the top floor, let's head downstairs. And while we're doing that, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more weekly Skyrim content. Now that we've made our way down, let's check out our basement, where we have an arcane enchanter, which is right next to 2 children's beds. They also have a rocking horse and a large ball that looks like my cat would enjoy playing with, and they have a nightstand and chest to store their things. And now that we've seen their space, let's go check out the master bedroom. In the master, there's a double bed for you and your spouse to share, a shrine of Mara, and a strongbox to store your valuables. On the right side of the room, we have some interesting clutter, a knapsack, and a broom to keep things tidy. And then on the other side of the room, we find a wardrobe to store your clothes. And now that we've seen all of the features of this home, it's time for final thoughts. Mountainview Farm is a simple farmhouse found on a gorgeous plot of land with majestic views. The land's the real star of the show, offering features like a grain mill, a butter churn, an animal pen with cows, a horse and a horse stable, chickens in their nests, a garden with 24 fertile soils, an outdoor but covered full smithing suite, a woodchopping block and woodcutter's axe, a spot to clean your laundry, a tub to clean yourself, an alchemy lab, a beehive, a covered porch to enjoy meals on a pleasant day, beautiful views of the surrounding area, and then inside you have a dining table, an oven, a cooking pot, an arcane enchanter, a master bedroom with a shrine of Mara, and 2 beds for your kids. If you love the outdoors and just want a simple lore-friendly home for the family, this could be the home for you. This concludes my feature of Mountainview Farm. If you enjoyed this content and want to see more, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the bell icon if you want to be notified of when I post. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next episode.